She's got new intro music, and she's going to introduce us with that music.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Earth's Ascension with Ortrun and Carl Franklin. This is Denise King Francisco, and I'm so happy to be here on this gorgeous Saturday morning and to talk about personal, planetary, and universal ascension with Carl and Ortrun. Hello, you two.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Dana, and good morning, everyone that's present here on the show this morning, and all those that are going to be listening in later.
It's good to have you with us this morning, and I think it's a beautiful topic to talk about is ascension and how it affects us personally, planetarily, and universally at this time, because we all know there are changes going on. So how do you both of you describe the word ascension? What is your definition of that? Because that's part of your website is Our Spiritual Ascension. What is that to you?
The frequencies of everything on the earth are increasing. And according to the physicist, everything in the universe is made out of energy, and energy is always in a frequency. So we're going through a very rapid upgrade, if you will, both as a planet, and that includes everything in and on the planet, and even some of those things above the planet. So that's what the ascension is. And I don't know. There's no record in our history of having gone through anything like this before. But my feeling is that perhaps we have. But this is a tremendous change, and it's evolution on steroids. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And the easiest way to understand it is to look at it at different levels at which it's occurring. It's occurring on a personal level within each and every person. And if you look at yourself, if you are what you consider a light worker particularly, and go back 5, 10, 15, 20 years and look at who you were then, what you believed, how you behaved, how you reacted, and look at how you are now. And you can most likely see a tremendous amount of change. Well, where is this coming from? What's motivating? What's behind it? And what's behind it is the frequency of the earth is increasing, and that impacts everything on the earth. And the frequency of our consciousness is increasing. We're developing new values, beliefs, perspectives, actions, reactions. And what we're giving up is we're giving up that is fear-based, that is limitation. And we're moving into a space where there are no limits and where there is love, where there is peace, where there is joy, where separation is shifting to at-one-ment, not only within ourselves, but also with other people, and even at becoming at one with the planet. So that's some of what's happening on the personal level. Ortrun, do you have any thoughts here?
Well, Dana, you mentioned that we have our website called Our Spiritual Ascension.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at that word, you can think of it's ours. We can think of that as just a few people, like just maybe our family or just Carl and I. But if you look at it at a broader perspective, our is all-inclusive. So, and that's what we are looking at it as our, the embracing of everyone that is upon the planet. Not only the individuals, but also everything that lives upon the planet and breathes upon the planet. So that it's an embracing and a recognition that we are all one. All of us are one. And our planet is at a point in time where we are more quickly moving up the stairway of connecting with the divine. And that, again, is personal, and again, it is also planetary.
And how does this fit in with the idea that we are entering into more fully the age of Aquarius? Does Ascension and Aquarius have any correlation?
Absolutely. Aquarius is a higher field of energy than the Piscean age that we're leaving. And this is further accentuated by the fact that the Earth the solar system actually goes through a 26,000-year cycle. And if you can picture the cycle of the solar system being horizontal, a horizontal circle, and then picture a vertical circle that is made out of photons. So, and these two circles intersect. Well, right now they are intersecting, and we're entering the photon age, which is a very high field of energy. So we've got a double whammy here. We've got the higher frequency of the Aquarian age. We have the higher frequency of the Piscean age, and we will be in both of these a little over 2,000 years. So this is the impetus for this increasing frequency. Plus, in a much, much larger scale, the Creator in the creation impregnated all of the energy out of which the universe is made with his consciousness. And consciousness includes free will. So every speck of energy that makes up the universe has the consciousness and free will of the Creator. The amount of that is dependent upon the nature of what form that energy might be in. We have the greatest amount of any species on the planet. So the Creator made a decision. He has had 14 billion years of experience of learning about the dark side, if you will, that is less than perfection. And he said, enough is enough. I've learned everything from this misuse of free will that I want or need to know. So we're going to now cut down on the amount of dark energy, dark consciousness in the universe. And I don't know if this is where it's originating, is on this planet. But I know that this planet Earth is playing a special role in bringing about this ascension to a higher level of consciousness. So that's a little bit of the background as to why it's happening and why it's happening now, because the stage is set. And then when you look at a planetary level, the frequency of the planet, and we can measure this because the Earth radiates what they call an electromagnetic field called the Schumann field, or the Schumann resonance. It comes out of the North Pole. It goes out several 100,000 miles into space, and it comes back in through the South Pole. That frequency was steady at 7.8 hertz. They began measuring it in 42, and it had not altered at all until 1987. And that was the year of the harmonic convergence. And it began to increase, and it's increased ever since then in a not a smooth line, but in a jagged manner. And from 7.8 hertz, it this year has topped 100 hertz. So that's, percentage-wise, that's a huge, huge change. And everything on the Earth is increasing in frequency, and that includes our bodies, which explains what they call ascension symptoms. All right? So the Earth is transitioning, and we know it not only because of the Schumann resonance, but there's been about a 300% increase in volcanic activity, earthquake activity, and we see it in our weather. The Earth's rotation on a daily basis, the poles were steady, but now they're making a figure 8, or the sign of infinity, each day as they rotate. And this is really messing up the ocean currents, which greatly influence world's weather. So we have anomalies in the weather. We have erratic weather, extreme weather, unpredictable weather, and that's a part of this too. So there are earth changes and there are personal changes occurring at an unprecedented rate of speed. And for much of what's happening, logically, we really don't have explanations. Okay, any other thoughts on that from either the two of you?
Well, I'm wondering if this also affects the animals here on planet Earth.
Yes, all life, including the vegetable life. You have perhaps read about how many animals are going extinct, but what you don't read as much about is how many new species are appearing on the Earth. National Geographic has covered this better than anyone that I know. And they don't call them new species. They say they found a species that they've never seen before. Well, if there's no archaeological record of it having ever been here, it has to be a new species. Okay. So yes, and also vegetation. We're getting new plants in that we've never had before, and some of the old plants are dying off because they can't handle these new higher frequencies.
Well, you know, I have a question with regard to, and maybe Ortrun could answer this. Ortrun, you've recently written a book. And in essence, the book is really about ancient teachings and how they apply to our lives now. And we know that in antiquity, the old ones, the ancient ones, have always known that the earth goes through ascension periods, evolution periods. What do the ancient Egyptians tell us about the times and cycles in life where we are ascending to a higher consciousness? And would you talk for a moment about your book and how it applies to ascension?
Oh, thank you. The name of my book is Key of Life, Ancient Wisdom Integrated into the Modern World. And so you can see with that title, what Denise had said is really relates to these things have been going on. This is not a new thing that is going on. Yes, the ancient ones, they have all had contact with other than only the earth. They know there is more than our planet. So they know there is always a vastness. And you know, stars and the moons and the suns, these are all things that seem like phenomena to many, but the ones that were the astronomers in the ancient times, that's not necessarily what they were called, but they studied the stars. They knew patterns of the stars. They knew that there was something greater than them. And I think everyone can contest that there is something greater because you can't explain what's out there. Even in the now time, even in the Vatican, they have their astrological buildings where they're constantly watching the stars. So it's even in more of the modern religions that they know that there's something more than what we see here, right on planet Earth. Mm-hmm. The ancient ones there have been many, many different cycles throughout the ages. And if you look at the pattern of cycles, even in the time frame that we can conceive, or most of us can conceive, there were times that there were the dark ages. Those were the times when things, were really suppressed. And then there came an age of romanticism, where all this beauty of music came out and things of that sort. So there were all different phases. And if you think about in your own life and you think about your family, for instance, wasn't there always that subconscious kind of an intent that you want that next generation to be better? Mm-hmm. There's always been something that's wanted not only for us to improve, but also for our families to be a step higher. And that doesn't necessarily mean, yes, maybe some of it does include having better finances, the more of the mundane things, but there's always been this push deep inside our souls that is saying we want to be better. There's something better. There's something greater. But what I want to go back to a little bit further is that, and Carl touched on this is that our planet was actually created for a purpose. And the purpose for our planet to be created was so that the divine was able to understand, in a sense, herself better. And with that, since there's always movement, that there was that pulsation of new energy, new vibration. This is why we were given free will. So that way that it could be seen that the divine could even see what would someone do with free will, what can be created with free will. And some chose to experience positive energies, some negative, although that was something that was specifically placed here upon the planet for that purpose, so that both sides of whatever there is could be seen, so that you could understand all the different vibratory frequencies of anything, really. Because no matter what, whether you're looking at your finger, there's more than just the finger there, the depths of that. Anything that has a variety of vibratory frequencies involved in it. And so we are now in this phase where we're starting to understand that, wow, there's so much more to us than we realize. Because when the planet was started, it was more, first, of course, we know it went through the plant cycle, and then, the mineral and the plant, and then into the animals, and then eventually into the human. But now we're going even beyond what we would consider human. So all the while that the planet has been here, more and more understanding of it has been coming about. And so, but there was a point where the divine has decided, okay, we've gone far enough. Okay, this planet has gone far enough in experiencing what might be called, the dark energies or the negative vibratory frequencies. Now let's get honed together and let's uplift this, because he's ready to complete this experimental cycle here upon the planet. Does that make any sense?
It's fascinating.
Yes. Anything else, Dana?
Well, I think a lot of people right now, there's anticipation and excitement about this time that we're living in, and there's some trepidation. And when I was choosing the artwork for the promo piece for this morning's show, I chose a heart and love. And I've read both of your books. They're outstanding. Everybody, if you want to order a copy of their books, please do visit OurSpiritualAscension.com to get a copy. I highly recommend both of them. But when I read the book, both of your books, there's an emphasis on love. And there's an emphasis on expressing love and being more compassionate and working as a unit rather than working as individuals. I feel as though in reading both of your works, we're living in a time where we have to understand we're all related, and that what we do to one, we do to another. And it now exists in our consciousness to understand this, that it goes beyond our personal and planetary, but it's actually a universal connectedness that I think more people are becoming aware of right now, and the need for more light vibration or love vibration, away from the war vibration. How do you feel about that?
Well, I agree with you 100%. As we move more into a group consciousness arena, which we are is happening, we are no longer separated. And one of the traits of the third dimensional level of consciousness is separation. And as we move through the fourth, which is a dimension of transition, at least in the physical plane, and we move into the fifth, we're moving into a unity consciousness, and a sense that we are all aspects of the Creator through whom the Creator is expressing and experiencing. And as we shift our focus from the outer world to the inner world, and we get in touch with the divine essence within ourselves, which is our soul. Our soul is a microcosm of the consciousness of the Creator. In the Christian religion, they talk a fair amount about the Holy Spirit and its omnipresence. It's everywhere. Well, that Holy Spirit is the presence of the consciousness of the Creator through and in everything. And within us, that is our soul. So as we unite with our soul and begin communicating with it, we have a very meaningful, significant, powerful sense that we are, on one level, we are a being of the universe, not just a physical being of the earth. And I think that's where this ascension is ultimately headed, is one of universality. There is no separation. And with that kind of mentality, we're now ready to begin interacting with space brothers and sisters, with brothers and sisters of inner earth, and so forth.
I love that. And so for, the person who's out there, wherever they are around the world this morning, because there are global listeners at Temple Within Radio, how does anyone just from home, say they're in quarantine or they're, staying tucked in at home to stay safe until the pandemic is under control, how do we in our homes, apartments, dwellings contribute to this new weave? I mean, do we meditate? Do we put out positive thinking? How do we help to enhance what's already begun?
Well, what you're mentioning is certainly true. And, of course, meditation is one of the most wonderful things for you to do because that is when you connect with the divine within. But the first thing that I would recommend is that you realize that there has to be this sense of releasing the fear that's involved with all that's going on around the planet right now. And that there is a higher purpose for this. And truly, on some level, we've been given this opportunity to be separated more from everyone so that we can have a time to start evaluating and looking at ourselves and seeing what is our life about. The business of the world has caused us to really forget about that divine essence that dwells within. We have so much to do. This is allowing us to pull back and take a little bit of a rest and start focusing on what is truly, really the purpose here for every individual.
I want to build on that. The virus is at a frequency. We are at a frequency. If with meditation, connecting with our soul, connecting with our spirit family, we raise our consciousness, we can move out of the range of frequencies that the virus functions in. And when we're out of that range, we are no longer susceptible to it. Okay? And in this whole ascension process, there's a real possibility that with the weather changes, that the earth will not be able to produce enough food for all of the people here. But if we are at a level of consciousness that we can do what Jesus said we could do, we'll be able to create our own food out of the energy that exists around us. So it's time for us to move and to connect fully with what we call Christ conscious energy, or our Christ conscious self, our Christ conscious aspect of our soul. And that, I think, is again, a big part of the solution, and the challenges give us the motivation to do that.
Well, one of the other things I just wanted to mention, and I said as far as going and learning about the positivity and moving away from that fear-based, when utilizing meditation, it's important that when you go in there, you not only go in there when you're in this horrible state of frustration, but when you do, if you choose to go into meditation when you're in that space, first speak to your divine self and say, I have a situation, I'm here to resolve it. Assist me in resolving this while I'm in this space of meditation. So that's probably one of the first things that many may have to do, is to recognize that if they bring that energy into meditation with no intention of changing it, it's just going to get worse. So always have that intention of that I want to get beyond the situation I'm in. I want to get beyond this frustration I'm experiencing right at this time. Now, the more that you meditate, the more that's automatic, because you know that's the intention you put out to the planet. Let's just make certain that if you have never meditated, that you recognize that it's important to set up the intention, the positive intentions of what you want to create within yourself, which also then is passed on to our planet, because whatever we are doing for ourselves, that is also enhancing the planet. Every little bit that we do enhances the planet.
And the human race.
And the human race, right. And everything upon the planet.
Yes.
So.
And I think it's probably important to mention, and I'd like both of your perspective on this if I could. Hey, Tara, it's good to have you in the chat room this morning. We know that around the world right now, a lot of people are passing from this life into their spirit life, a great number, due to the pandemic or complications from the pandemic and every other sort of passing that continues to happen each and every day. Those of us that are here on earth, still in our physical bodies, how may we best help those that have passed on, and maybe they passed on and they were in a state of fear, or they were alone, or maybe both? And how do we help those healthcare workers that are part of the process of ascension, that are right there literally with those that are ascending into their spiritual body and having to deal with their own physical health? What can we do for others?
First and foremost, Carl, I'm sure is going to get a little bit deeper in this than I will. But for most people that haven't been working with that kind of thought pattern at all, the first thing is to send that love and blessing to the ones that have made their transition, and speak to them and let them know that all is well, that they are loved, that there is no judgment. It just depends on where they're at in their thinking, and you as individuals would know more where those individuals are at. So first and foremost, start at that point, and then help them to understand that the Divine Mother, Father, God, they are all embracing and they're all forgiving. And so for them to continue their journey and to go into the light and then complete their transition, instead of being stuck in a space where it's uncertain for them. Okay, Carl.
I would call in angels to be with the one that has died and to show them the entrance to heaven. And then I would call in their loved ones that are in heaven to come from heaven and be with them and encourage them to go into this, what's called the tunnel of light, which is like the vestibule or the lobby to heaven. And with help from the angelic realm and help from loved ones, virtually the vast majority of people will choose to go into heaven, and which is where it is they are meant to be and where they will be best off. And know that after a person has died, the chances are really great that they're going to come back, if you want, and visit you. And you're going to think it's just your imagination, but trust it that no, it's much more than that. Reach out to them, talk to them with your heart and your mind, embrace them, and thank them. And anyway, make it a meaningful type of encounter. And also know that if at some point down the road you feel that they could be helpful to you, go into a meditative state, reach out to them, and ask them to come and ask for what it is you might need from them. Okay?
Mm-hmm. I wanted to touch on that because it's been brought up, at least to me, many, many times. You know, Dana, the number of people that are crossing over right now is just intense, and a lot of them are passing, you know, by themselves. I don't think that anybody ever dies alone, whether they're physically alone or not. And so, you know, to reassure those that are dealing with this part of the ascension that's including a pandemic, to let them know that their loved one is okay, that their loved one, you know, didn't die alone, and that they're not helpless in assisting them from home. Because if you have somebody in the hospital, you can, of course, hold sacred space at home to help them. Because you and the three of us know that there are a lot of people who feel bad when one of their beloveds has died physically alone.
Yes.
And people will carry that burden within their own emotions and psyche for a very long time. So thank you for sharing that. It's such a warm and good feeling to know that there is assistance as well outside of.
Yes. Do we have enough time that I can talk a little bit about what is it of us that dies and what does not die?
That would be great. Lily, it's good to have you in the chat room too this morning. The crowd keeps getting bigger, so please keep talking if you can.
Okay, we're made up of 4 different components. One is our mind, one is our emotion, and one is our soul. None of those are physical, okay? But in order to fully experience and express in a physical world, they need a physical vehicle made out of the material of the minerals and gases and liquids of this world. So we have a physical body. And the physical body is the only part of us that's temporary. It dies, but the mental, emotional, and soul aspect of us are eternal. They do not die. Death is caused when those 3 bodies, and together they're referred to as the astral body. When the astral body leaves the physical body has no life energy of its own. Life energy comes from the soul. The soul, the divine within us. So the physical body dies, but we do not. We're very much the same person after death that we are before, except we weigh 5/8 of 1 ounce instead of 100 or 200 pounds, all right? So know that they're as alive, in fact, probably more alive without their physical body, because they do not have the limitations imposed by a failing physical body.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that, Carl. I appreciate that. This ascension, where we're headed, I think is an astonishing place. But as with anything that we give birth to, there are always those birthing pains, and I believe that that's one of the greatest of them right now is the number of people who are passing and leaving those behind wondering if they're okay. And, you know, were they really alone? Did Grandma and Grandpa come to meet them, or, you know, what have you? And I just wanted to acknowledge that.
It is really important to do that. And then also to remember, when you think about your loved ones, to always remember that they probably do believe that they have a guardian angel, or that somewhere along the way they learned that. But then to expand that and for them to realize or let them know that they have more than even their family members and the guardian angel, but there's a whole angelic team and there are teams that are from all over the universe. You know, there's so many beings of light, masters and teachers that are all with them and that are part of their journey. They've always been with them, help them to understand and recognize, hey, they are still with you and they're there to assist you to continue on.
Yeah, and my understanding is that when we planned our lifetime, most of us built in 5 exit points. And those that are leaving are at an exit point, and I'm going to say many of them are at their final exit point. So they had, subconsciously at least, they knew that this time was their time to go. And the virus is simply a factor in their going at this, it's the how they go, not when they go.
Beautifully said. Thank you for that. For those that are tuning in for the very first time today, Carl and or Troon, would you talk for a moment about the work that you do? Carl and or Troon are available for personal appointments via Zoom or phone. At this time, they're still at it. And again, please do check out their website, OurSpiritualAscension.com. Or Troon, what sort of work are you available for during this time of ascension?
Well, there are various things that I do, but I'm going to say the most important thing that I do is it's actually the chakra clearing and filling with the divine light. But it's a little bit more than what it sounds like. It's very, very deep, and it's something that the divine ones over the years, because I've been doing this for 40 years, they keep giving me more and more information specifically for the individuals I'm working with. They have given me and let me know who their spirit healers are. So they come in and they're with us, and they specifically go right into the different parts of their being, whether it's the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual parts of their being. And they then take those parts that need to be either reworked and realigned and replace it with what's to be there now, or they will specifically completely remove it because it's time for that to be gone, and then to fill it with the energy vibrations that they're meant to have now, so that their energy bodies, all of their chakras, energy centers, and all levels are totally clear. And then you are now this being that you're more than at your, I'm going to say, your fully realized self. And then it's your job to continue to fill yourself with that divine essence that you've been given at that point in time, to continue then grow from that space. So that's the main one that I do. I do other things also. I do, spiritual counseling. I also do some astrology. Astrology. And also I do what's called sacred name readings, Ren readings. So the Ren in the ancient Egyptian times meant a name, and it is part of your soul. So those are a few of the things that I work with. Plus, we of course do weddings and celebration of life, and what else do we do? Naming ceremonies, so on. So, Carl, what is it you do?
Well, the most popular thing that I do is a life script reading. If you want to know why you're here, a life script reading will give you that information. And also, I wrote a book, and it's entitled Earth's Ascension, Nibiru, and the Spirit Realm. And I do a lot of entity placement. If you have a loved one that died and you're not sure if they completed their transition, we can check to see, and if they need help, we can call in help for them so that they do complete their transition.
Carl, is this something that...
entity attachments, we can take care of that too.
Is this something, Carl, that you can do remotely via Zoom or via phone?
Yes, absolutely. All of it can be done remotely.
And some of the times Carl and I work together, especially with situations, maybe relationships, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So, and because both Carl uses dowsing rods, but I use a pendulum. And sometimes when we work together, we feel that we get better answers than if we were working alone. So many times we do work together with individuals also. How
long have you two been working in this field of metaphysics?
49 years for me.
Well, I've been in metaphysics for a long time, but as far as really getting, I'm going to say, thrown into it, it's been 44 years. Carl and I will be married 44 years on the 17th of December. And that it was, once we were married, it was like, whoa, we were just tossed right into it. And so what we had learned before on our own, all of a sudden we came together, and it was just full force from that point on. We had, even in the first year, we had 15 to 45 people a week coming to classes in our home. So it's been a nice journey.
That's outstanding. It's good to let people know, who you are, which is why I asked the question, because we have a lot of new listeners today. And so who are these two, and where do they get their knowledge? And I've known Carl and Ortrun for, 16, almost 17 years now. And I regard them both as dear friends and family and mentors and teachers and colleagues. And I'm really happy that you've agreed to do this show once a month together. And
thank you.
For those that are wondering, do you have a Facebook page or two? What's the answer to that?
Well, we have our website is ourspiritualascension.com. And then we have quite a few Facebook pages. We've got, of course, this one, which is the Earth Ascension with Ortrun and Carl. And then there's the Key of Life, which is based on my book, and there's one based on his book, the Earth Ascension, Nibiru, and the Spirit Realm. Oh, my goodness, what else? Oh, Living in Two Worlds. That's another Facebook page. And there's another one. It's called Key of Life, Mystery School Experiences. And I think that's all. So we've got quite a few places that you can get in touch with us and get a hold of us if you need to or would like to be with us and spend some time with us. And we would certainly love to get to know all of you much better.
Great. And so in our final moments here, what would each of you like to leave your listeners with regarding the Ascension and the positive places we're going?
Well, I just want to let all of you know that you each are here on the planet for a purpose. And many of you have probably thought about that. And many of you think, well, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And think you're not doing it. But recognize that whatever your purpose is, you're already experiencing and doing it. Because you are here as someone to bring energy into the planet. And this energy that you carry is the frequency that's needed upon the planet at this time. That then can be distributed in many different ways. But it doesn't have to be always that you have to be in front of the stage. It can be being at home and being that homemaker. Many different things. Anything you're doing, just realize that you are participating and that you are part of the upliftment. Okay?
I love that.
Jesus said, "Do you not know that you are God?" The psalmist said exactly the same thing. And that's the direction that we're all moving in, and it's a personal journey for each one of us. Please meditate regularly, daily, if not more than once a day, and go deep enough and ask to be able to make contact with your divine soul and listen to it. Ask it questions, ask it for help, and ask it for help that whatever it is you might need in your life, and then be open to receive. And to receive, you have to be at a level of consciousness that the answer is going to be coming. So raise your consciousness, clear your chakras, get to the highest level of spiritual awareness that you can be. And this will be life transforming for you. And it helps humanity and the planet.
Beautiful.
There's one more thing I want to mention. Mm-hmm. You know that some of you know Carl, and you know him. That sometimes he's this beautiful man called Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And we're just really very lightly starting this, but we're starting to do some Zoom Santas and virtual Santa gatherings, or actually having children be able to speak to Santa virtually. And really, truly, we are just starting this. And this is something that you might want your children to experience, since this is the pandemic time, and it may not be another chance to do that. Please contact us through our website. We don't even have anything up on our website about it, but contact us, and we can possibly make some kind of arrangement to bring some additional Christmas joy for your children.
That's outstanding. I love that idea. I might have to do that for me.
There you go. That sounds great. We would love it.
Okay, you two, thank you for being with us this morning. Thank you to everybody in the chat room and everybody listening around Grandmother Earth. It was good to have you here with us this morning. Until next time. Have a great day, Carl and Ortrun.
And thank you so much for having us. We really love it. Love you. Love everyone that's out there. And have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everybody.